Hello and welcome back to the show. So I'm excited to introduce you guys to my guest today, Jade Lee, who is the CEO and founder of Lucy Estates, an international real estate agency based in Seoul, South Korea. And she's also a member of the leading real estate companies of the world, Leading RE, one of the largest, most recognizable global networks of independent real estate agencies in the entire world. And she's going to be sharing with us a little bit today on how she's built her own agency very successfully, working with commercial luxury clients globally, and sharing some of her advice. So, Jade, welcome to the show. Super excited to have you join us here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely.
So,
So yeah, so before we jump into things, I would love for you to have an opportunity to share a little bit about your background, who you are, and just how did you get your
uh-huh.
start in real estate?
Okay, so it's kind of a long story, but I try to make it quite short. So my name is Jade Lee, and I'm the founder of the Lucy Estate. And this is the real estate agency based in Gangnam, Seoul, and officially recognized by the city of Seoul as a global certificate real estate agency. But you know that real estate wasn't my first path at all. My first path was law. I studied law in the UK and contract law and company law and completed the LPC there. So my original goal was to become a solicitor in England. But the UK law degree also qualify you sit for New York bar exam. So later, at a later point, I took that path instead. I became a qualified attorney in law in the US. And that international legal background ends up shaping everything that came later. From there, I moved to Greece. I work with a company involved in EU development project and also with a local law firm. And a lot of work touched real estate. So hotel development, investment deal, cross-border transaction. That's really when I started to see real estate differently. It's not just about physical building. It's about people, investment law, cultures, and long-term relationship. And eventually I came back to Korea because of my family. My father has passed away, and I realized my mom was carrying too much on her own. Then a problem came up with my family business, and I came back to help. And that moment changed everything for me. I asked myself, what can I actually build in Korea using everything I learned internationally? And at the time, and even now, very few brokers in Korea were focused on international transaction. So I got my Korean real estate license and completed from zero. And that's the story behind my company, the Lucy Estate, and which today is the member of the, as you said, Leading Ali, and that is the global real estate network. Okay,
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's pretty cool that you had a background in law around the world before
Mhm,
getting into, being a real estate broker. So one of the things you mentioned was when you first started, there was not that many real estate brokers in your market, and so working with international clients. So what was it that, you felt that you could deliver that made you
mhm.
different than everybody else that you could capture?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. I really believe that that might be the sum of the sector because still, in international transaction wise, still in Korea, not many professional existed. Of course, like for the commercial wise, we have the big company like the CBR, JLL, Cushman, but usually they deal with commercial and also they are dealing only a very big deal. So they don't receive the regular client who is a bit like the the sum is a bit, the figure is a bit low, then they can really just work with them. So like I could see the loss of potential and opportunity going around in Seoul in Korean market, and that's the reason I see the future, and I decided to jump in.
Yeah. Yeah, so you were able to basically work with, a different clientele than the bigger
Yeah.
companies. And, now would you say is there a lot of people currently right now in different countries who are looking to either buy real
Yes.
estate or invest in real estate in
Mhm.
the Seoul market?
Yeah, that's quite correct. Like it's quite an interesting change for recently, like and also it was a change it happened last few years in Korea. Like first in our domestic market, especially residential market, people could make money or the make just to investing in Korean property could make a really good return for them. But recently, our government they put lots of restriction on our especially residential market because our housing prices become so expensive, and not many people has the opportunity. So, because of the restriction, the Korean people they are looking overseas market for investment purpose. And in the meantime, and because now gradually many Korean people they are going to overseas and try to find opportunity in overseas market like some other country who and company in big company in other country, especially important and famous for international investment, they try to find some Korean partner in Korean market who can serve them, and in the meantime communicate them easily, and more importantly in understand their culture and they communicate it in the international level. And still, of course, except the very big company in Korea as an individual level or the small firm level, not many company can have such ability in Korean market. So because like in Korea, usually real estate market was dominated by some like our older generation because like a real estate for the local agency, they don't started from the when they are very young. Usually that was the market when people they retire and as their second job in their life, they just try to get the real estate license and jump into and they start their career. So meaning that one, for that was the local market, they know they how to deal with the people. But for the internationally, they still have some a bit less. Okay, I wouldn't say that they're less qualified for, but basically like the conversation or the language wise, they need someone's help and for the and first and especially international market client they don't want to get worried, so that might be the one of the reasons they try to find me. At least they when they communicate with me they believe that okay, at least with this company I can rely on, at least this company can understand what I need and they can answer right away, and also I can trust them. That is the more important thing, I think.
100%. I think working with international clients is very difficult, I think, to a certain extent because they are literally they live in a different area than you do. So how do you know that, when they transfer
Yeah.
over documents and wire over money that they can trust the agent on the other side, right, of the transaction? And even if they're in a different area of the world, they're going to be in a different time zone as
Hmm.
well. So, wanted to ask you, like, what are some of the challenges that you ran into as you work with clients pretty much all over the world, and how are
Hmm.
you able to resolve those challenges so that you can service clients in different areas with different cultures that speak different languages and maybe live in, obscure time zones for you?
Yeah, I have realized that usually the most of clients they reach out to our company. They can speak English. Maybe because I do some SNS and often they can see my profile on the LinkedIn or the Facebook. So they realize that oh, I can speak English and I will just speak with her in English. So for the language wise, usually for the client coming to me, I don't have a really big problem. They are all great. But like for the challenge is, of course, maybe you have realized that. it's because of our time zone difference. So like often I hear some of the I sometimes I try to like switch off my mobile while I'm sleeping, but sometimes when I forget, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they just send a message, and and by mistake I read the message, then I have to reply. You know that like the it's not a good, especially at the first impression. Then I have to show that I'm there and I don't ignore you in that way, in the sense. So for the like a time difference is a bit, that might be the one of the biggest hurdle. But luckily for the international culture wise, I lived in, and also I have my sister living in the U.S. So I know some culture in other country, and I studied in the UK, and I studied with a lot of overseas students. So I'm quite familiar with their culture and something I should and shouldn't. So in that way, for the culture or the investment culture-wise, I'm quite lucky because of my past experience, like helped me a lot in that sense. And it's quite a big fun. But in the meantime, perhaps the biggest hurdle might be the process.
Hmm.
Different currency and different banking regulation and thing. And often I don't know the like understand it clearly about that. And another thing is like that in Korean real estate market and in other country, we are all different. So the most difficult part was to try to make the client understand we have a different system, and this is a Korean system. So like the maybe this is the something you should get used to that. For example, for like the monthly rental system, we have the quite big deposit system. It's not like the 1 month rent. Sometimes it's quite a big money. And when I just like explain about that one, like how much is a deposit, and usually what they said is, oh, perhaps the 1 month or 2 months deposit, like the I can give you. And I said, oh, I'm sorry, but it doesn't work in that way. Maybe at least you have to give 10 months deposit or the 1 month year rent. And they don't really understand. So in that sense, I have to jump, and either I have to try to convince my landlord like that. This is quite common. So actually you can trust them, don't worry. And in the meantime, I have to let them, because I can't just tell them you will find your company law. So like we have to find some kinds of the point in the middle. So negotiation point, sometimes both of them are quite tough. That might be a bit more difficult. But usually they are quite like the out of the landlord side or the client, the tenant or client side. They are trying to understand because they understand the different culture as well.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's I mean that could be really difficult, right? Because,
Yes,
I'm not as obviously not as familiar as yourself with how the Korean real estate system works, but I've heard of these things too where the month, the deposit could be it's a completely different way to think about what the deposit is, right? Than what somebody in the US would think about. So the fact that you're able to help both the landlord and the client be able to kind of bridge that gap, right? To
yeah,
find almost
yeah,
a little
that's
middle
correct.
ground,
Yeah.
right? To be
Mm,
able to actually complete the transaction is very unique and an important skill set, would you say, to working with international clients?
yes, that's correct.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's really cool. So, something else that you brought up too was the fact that, another big challenge is the time zone difference. So, I just have to ask because, working with international agents for me, there is a difficulty to kind of, only being available, right, certain hours of the
Ah, yeah,
day.
yeah, yeah.
So, how are you able to manage your time so that way you're getting the most out of your time, right, to work with as many clients as possible, but still protecting your own personal time as well, so
That's
that
true. Yeah, yeah, that's quite important. Yeah. Yeah. At the beginning, that was something I would want to say to the other agent working for the international like transaction. Uh, like at the beginning, because I was so active, because like when you start your work, you always do that. So at the beginning, I just lost my sleep because of the something they ask. I just jump into, I have to finish right away. And when someone just ask something, I have to answer right away. And I have realized that after a few months later, I think actually I got burned out in that way. It's not like the project of the company you are working with that one. For example, like the in company or especially in our law firm, one case come and we work really hard on that. And after that, we just but we close the deal, and then after that, maybe just a regular backup, and that's it. And if something came up, there's a new project. But in real estate, it's an ongoing process. So and also at the beginning, you have to really faithful and you have to respond quickly. But it never means that you have to, and in the meantime, you have to manage your time really well because you don't really deal with just one client. You deal with many clients or the many investors and also your partners. They expect almost the same level care of the service from you. So if you don't know how to manage your time or to make the then later you are just get just to burn yourself and you will be burnt out or just you will disappointed many people because of just one client. So managing your time is really important, and don't try to make a 100% and just to have the satisfaction to give your client. Just you have to manage, and then it's just like the fair deal because you have to. If you are happy, your client will be happy. But if you just make yourself too much tired later, it wouldn't be a fun. It would be a kind of burden. It's kind of a task you have to want to finish right away. So that you have to know how to manage your personal time and engage it, and also in the meantime, very faithful and trustful toward your client and your partner.
Yes, and I think a lot of agents forget about that, right? When they
Mm,
are working with their clients, especially in the beginning of their careers, they want to work with
yeah.
as many people as possible, right? They want to be
Mm,
there 100% of the time, but as you build your business later on, you realize that's not possible. You
yeah.
realize that the more you try to give up and sacrifice more of your time, the harder it is for you to show up, right, as a happy
Yeah.
agent for
Mm,
your clients.
yeah. That maybe you had a kind of a similar experience as well, like the and because like you are working with many agents of the different company. So and but now I think the making a happy medium is like important for everybody.
Yes, 100%. And it's really interesting because one of the things you mentioned, I would say earlier on in the podcast, is the fact that there's a lot of Korean, right, nationals, right, locals who are looking to maybe invest in real estate or buy real estate in other countries too. So
Yeah. Mm.
it's more of a back and forth type of deal in the Seoul real estate market. So, kind of on the other side of things, if let's just say an agent who's in the United States asks
Hmm.
you, if I wanted to work with Koreans who want to move to the US or want to buy real estate
Hmm.
in the US, what are some things that this agent should be aware of, right, when it comes
Of
to
course.
working
Yeah.
with Korean clients?
Yeah, that is something I really focus on that. So usually it's about my strategy for building successful real estate agency in in Korea or internationally. So perhaps everyone knows that trust and fast communication, that's the foundation. And that is the baseline requirement, and especially when you are working across the country. But my strategy goes one step further. It's in building a network of people I truly trust. So in international real estate, you can't just work alone. Client need someone reliable in every market. An agent need partners they can trust with their reputation. So when an agent refer a client to another country or the other way around, they are not just sending a lead. They are trusting you with their relationship. That's a big responsibility, and I take it very seriously. And as I told you that, with other country, and I try to build exactly the kinds of network, people I can count on, and who I can count on me. I also believe strongly in specialization. You can't just do everything for everyone. we focus on cross border real estate and and then helping international client understand Korea and have Korean client to find opportunity abroad. And meaning that I have to find a partner who understand our culture and I can rely on them. I can count on them. If I send my client, uh, can they have the enough ability or responsibility to take care of my client? So for me, it's kind of really important to building a network of the group of the network of the agent or the people I can truly trust.
Yes. Yeah, I absolutely would agree with that, right? Because you have a global, network, right, of partners that you want
Yeah,
to work with too, because if you're referring clients, you don't want somebody to, do a bad job because it reflects bad on you.
yeah,
So my question is, when you're looking for like a referral partner, what are some
yeah,
things
yeah.
that you look for? Like, do you look for their track record, how many deals they've done?
Yeah, yeah.
What are some things that you want to qualify them for?
The qualified is usually that is one of the thing I just within the network. So for some of the network, they have the kinds of the internal assessment for the not everyone can join the network. Maybe for some other network as well. So if someone was the one of the member of the network, and also at the meantime, what I really understand, what I want to try to do is not just rely on their track record, because they can just say that our confidential or whatever, and of course we can't really, we are not in the same market. So what they just sing on their profile, it's just like a kind of the matter. And I don't know how I can just trust or that I can work with that. So what I want to do is first, when I have the thing, I try to have some direct conversation like what we are doing now. So I just asked them the Zoom meeting. And then I asked them something like a few questions about that. Like the because our between us, we can understand whether this person will be really well qualified or just is a not everyone has a different specialty. We can't just figure out just one conversation, but at least we just I want to see that what way of the conversation skill or the ability or type of the style of their conversation. If there's a match, I can just communicate them easily. Of course, and with if the agent, the referral agent, if they can just have the ready to learn about the different culture, or just try to persist or insist on all regulation. That is the one of the part I really looking at, like the personal meeting, and there just a qualification, just what I assess from my assessment, and also the level of the way of their how to communicate with the client. So one people they might be really good at process like the for the handling client, then I want to see the how my client to feel comfortable when they just work with them in that agent. That is all quite important for me.
Yes, so you want to make sure that everybody you refer to, you actually have a conversation with them
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know how it is that they interact with other people,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that way it's almost like this person has become somebody who is within your personal network, right? That you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
refer. It's almost like somebody who's almost like part of your agency,
Mm.
if you want to think about it, right? Because that's kind of like what they're doing, right? They're representing
Yeah,
your
yeah.
clients in a different
Yeah.
market.
Yeah, another way is because I just and I strongly encourage the personal meeting. So whenever I go to foreign country, that I try to meet some of the agent within my network or someone we just had a contact each other, and I try to make some time to meet them in person. Then later, we have the Zoom meeting. Of course, we can build the trust through the Zoom meeting, but the meeting in person is something different. Just a 5 minute or 10 minutes, it's just we can just have the opportunity to understand each other. Then later, if you have some referral and then I have opportunity to send my client, then just that he or she is the first person to just within my list. I just contact them, and then later after that, if they person trusts somebody, then I can refer to them through the network, not just seeing either like track record or the web page. That's also is important. The way of the judging your professionality. But for the real estate business, as I told you, that it's not just about the building or the how good opportunity you can offer, and how reliable and how our client feel comfortable and we can give the enough trust to them. So when the referring them, for me is the personal network is the number one. Then later, if I can find that 1 day later, we'll have the meeting, Zoom meeting, and the few conversation, and then I just ask them, and and also I see I think the experience of the how many times they have to deal with the client, especially the similar culture. If they don't have the experience in dealing with the Korean client, at least, and I ask them, is anybody you're in your company? They are who can speak Korean language, or they just familiar with the Korean cultures, or anyone who has to work with the Korean in Korea. That's really important because from the banking process and everything, we need to find and each country has a different rule. And for the international the transaction, really important thing is just how to send the money, not just sending the money, whether they have to meet the specific requirement, the internal regulation, and also the foreign regulation as well. So that's the reason we have to meet in person, whether the person can truly understand, especially for, and nowadays we are the helping, we just get the help from AI a lot. So even for me, I have like that. I have nothing, I know nothing about some country, let's say Bahama. But for the paper wise, I can create the perfect proposal. Just like if I just send my paper, I try, maybe they might understand I'm the that Bahama specialist. But in reality, you can't just it's not it has to be have to understand and to cross check whether this agent can really has the ability to handle international transaction. So that is the thing, like the meeting in person and then see their potential. And also I use the personal network. So maybe the using the personal or the professional network is the most my starting point when I find a referral client.
Yes.
And yeah. And also I want to one thing add. Maybe it might be helpful for the agent. I also look at what their something kinds of the title or qualification or certificate. I just look at that. For example, if you have the for the commercial wide, you have the CCIM or the other kinds of the kinds of the qualification, then it doesn't matter the how good that you are did the job. Meaning that one, you are enough. How can I say that you are serious about your job, you devote and also you spend your time and you get the certificate. It means that you are not just to want to make the money and then run out of the market. You are taking or you're just thinking your job in a really serious way. That's the thing I just look at one. Oh, you are a really busy person, but still you have time and then you have the energy, you have the motivation to study and to develop yourself. Meaning that one, I can trust you a bit more. That might be the one of the way of the way I assess the people's ability to work together.
Yes, so their title, and then also the fact that you do make the effort to
Mm-hmm.
travel out and meet people in person, which is very important, right?
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
it's just a different energy. So, do you travel a lot internationally? I
Yeah,
know previously you have, but now are you spending some time traveling around the world?
recently I didn't really go for the personal way. Usually I go, for example, when I went to Japan, it was to try to attend international forum of our network leading Ali. And like I met lots of agents from different countries. That is a really good thing. And in the meantime, I met some of the partner company in Japan, and I'm doing the same time. Like the and for example, when I go to Europe, Greece or the UK, I try to before I go there, I try to make some appointment schedule, the meeting schedule with the agent of the other country. So like usually they are really well, they're really kind, and then they're also very like happy to be reached out, like what I'm doing. So like the and even for their side, when you have the opportunity to come to visit my area, then you are willing to meet me, then you are serious about your job in the same way. So like even if the personal tuber, I always try to make some kinds of a 2 or 3 meeting schedule with the agent of that area. So it's a really good thing. It's because not just we have the Zoom meeting, we actually meet in that location, in the place, and I ask them and often that is the way I understand that market more clearly. Actually, I came here I move around. I see that kinds of this something different. Like, why is that? And that person can give me the more direct answer about that, then in a way we can understand the market and understand our people the more like better.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the fact that you are willing to go out there and travel and meet people in person, and the fact that if somebody travels to your area in Seoul and they're willing to meet with you, that really shows a different level of seriousness, right, for how much
Yeah,
they.
yeah. Mm,
So, yeah, it's very great that you have the
yeah,
opportunity to do that.
yeah. If you have any chance to visit Korea, then you are welcome as well. Definitely,
Absolutely.
you have to go for a coffee and show around some of the that area. Yeah,
Yeah, I heard that the coffee in Korea is top notch. It's fantastic. So we'll
yeah,
have
yeah.
to
It's
try
great now. Yeah, we have everything.
it. Jake, just thank you so much for taking some time today and
Yeah.
sharing your value, your knowledge with us. I feel like it was a very valuable podcast for any agents looking to do business internationally, build up their own referral networks as well. So, for agents out there that want to get in a hold of you, that maybe have clients that they want to refer to you, what are some of the best places for people to find you and get in touch with you?
Okay, the middle one of the way is maybe you can see the behind my back, like Lucy Estate. There is a website, so you can just if you just go to my website, you'll find my contact detail. And in the meantime, of course, and you can find me through the SNS, like the LinkedIn and Facebook and also Instagram, and you can find me easily like the Lucy Estate, Jade Lee. Well, just I'll be there. So recently I was quite so busy, so I didn't have time to upload regularly. And but now I'm just try to recreate my website as well. So for a more approachable for client from Korea and from overseas. So and also I try to upload more like the Korean news or the new regulation or how to that in like the LinkedIn and then other SNS site. So just try to find me. Then I'm really happy, not just like a client. And I love to hear from real estate, the professional and the referral partners and the client as well. And or anybody curious about the Korean or cross-border real estate. So let's connect it.
Absolutely. We'll make sure to leave the links to your website and social media in the description down below. But Jade, other than that, just want to say thank you again for being on the show. Before we wrap up today, do you have any just like last pieces of feedback, anything that you want to leave with the audience before we sign off today?
For agent or for client?
Let's but we can, it could be for both. I think most of the people who listen to this podcast are agents, but I'm sure they can share their advice with their clients as well.
okay, so maybe uh, because when I was younger and I when I work in a law firm or the other in other profession, then I believe that one human relationship, trust, building, it could be something second thing. But now, especially in real estate business, it's not just just sending client and make money. It's people business. So, like the trust and just trust is the most important thing. And also, you have to find the right people just to work together. And when it's just not just like you have to find the right person, right partner. You have to find the right client as well. Like just and also you have to do that, see that whether you feel comfortable with the person, not just of the how big profit I can just give you is the second way. So like the try to listen to the people and then try to find out how how can I trust these people, and that whether it's really like the reliable. Just like I keep saying that one is quite a bit just a boring topic, but that's really true. I have realized recently that find the right partner, and that's the reason I'm trying to like to connect with you and then other referral partners.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's very, very good advice, very practical as well. So, Jade, just want to say thank you for being here today. Appreciate you tuning in to the show, and we'll see
Thank
you
you.
on the next show. Take care.
Okay, thank you. Bye.